Lord, we just pray that we can get everything out today. You just take away all of our anxiety, God, and just let us be able to speak freely and candidly and
help people
at the end of the day. Just lead them to this podcast, whoever needs to hear it, God, and just help us get our mission across to women who are struggling with the same thing that Sunny has. Amen. Hello, welcome back to the Human Sunshine podcast. I am your co-host, Brittany Maurer.
And I'm Sunny Woodall.
Welcome back. Episode 2.
Yep.
We dove deep in a lot of things last time that we kind of want to dive a little bit deeper into today. You had mentioned last time about kind of substance abuse and an affair that had happened. So I kind of want to touch onto those things. I feel like because I've known you for so long, like when people think substance abuse, like you think like, oh yeah, you're an alcoholic or you're doing all those things. But I never really felt like you were those like stigmas of like an alcoholic. Like you definitely had a drinking problem, and I had seen you at
my lowest,
some low points.
Yes.
I remember, like you just being so just down and upset, and I feel like it was very circumstantial.
Yeah.
I feel like if you weren't experiencing everything that you were going through, like you wouldn't have been using that to cope. I feel like that 100% was like your coping mechanism during that time. But yeah, like I've never seen you like that, like to the point where I was having to like physically grab drinks out of your hand.
None of my friends have seen me like that ever. And you did. Yeah. And you did physically grab a drink out of my hand.
Yeah. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah. So, yes, that was what I thought was a solution to, I don't know that I thought it was a solution to a problem, but it definitely was something that I leaned on like tremendously. And it was so wrong and I regret it. And it didn't make one day better, not one moment better. It only got me in a much more lonely, darker place. Also, I will say now that it definitely armed, my husband with a whole lot more against me. And it just depends maybe on who you have around you at that point, like at a really low point. Like you saw it and you were like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Like you were helpful in that sense, but it is a tough place to be when you're really, really that down and you don't have support and you really don't know what's going on. I think it sounds very cliche, but I know that was like something I was doing to numb. I didn't want to feel anything like at all. I just was like, if I take a drink or have this drink or, it will make me feel nothing. And that's also not great. So it was a very, difficult time.
Do you have like recollection of like the sequence of events that led to that point where you're just like, I'm freaking done. Like I need an outlet.
Done drinking or when it started?
When it started.
For me, 100%, I noticed after his first suicide attempt, this person's like dying in my arms and I'm doing CPR and I don't even know how to do that. And you're still not, it just was traumatizing to say the least. And my children are upstairs. I mean, this is like, there's just so much going on that you cannot like process it. Right. So after that happened, like the next day or two, like once he woke up from a coma, the next couple days, we had like everyone over at the house, like family, and it's this like joyous time. Like, Sonny, you saved his life, and like, oh my gosh, and we're telling everyone this was an accident. And what that did in that time for me in that home, like 100%. I just remember being at that, like where everyone was at our house, and I remember standing back thinking like, we are telling everyone that everything in this home is an accident. And now we're saying this is an accident.
Yeah. It's just it's like a repeating cycle. Like there was never any accountability. It's like lie.
Right. You're just lying so much.
Cover up.
And so much. Like, and I could not understand it anymore. I couldn't take it. But I also couldn't like out that, it was like, I went back to work. Like I think I went back to work like the next day. I literally went right back into work because that's what I knew how to do.
I was one of the very few people that you actually called the day that it happened.
Yeah.
And you were so like beside yourself. But yeah, from the start, I was like, you know me. I'm like, went to school for law enforcement. So I'm like, what happened? Tell me all the details. Like, what do you mean this happened?
Yeah.
Like, it just didn't make sense in my head even. So it was like, I always had those more questions.
Right.
And like, okay, it just doesn't seem like the story made sense.
Well,
so knowing what I know now, it's like, yeah, it was never the truth.
It was never, nothing was the truth.
Yeah.
Like, and this is like, again, the snowball of lies that you're telling. And it's just like, but you think, or I thought, these lies are actually going to like protect my family. At the end of the day, this is all going to be okay. And we're going to protect. That's what I'm doing. But really it was like taking my soul away. Like I couldn't do it anymore. And I knew this was not an accident from the first time I laid eyes on him on the bench press. I knew it wasn't an accident, but we didn't say that.
Yeah.
So, and, even in the hospital going there after he woke up, when I get there and, the doctor is like with him and I both, and she puts his hand on him and she explains what substances he was under during this time that I was not aware of.
Yeah.
It was just like, we didn't talk about it. Like we just didn't. And we just moved on, and he's alive. So that's grace of God, right? Like this is all that matters. But yes, that was just a very, I didn't process that, Britt, till like a very long time after in therapy. And I don't know, I just wanted to move on. And so did he. But I noticed like very shortly after there, like even doing like homework with the kids, it was like we had this walk-in pantry and there'd be like, wine. And I don't even really like wine that much. And I would like take a sip of wine and then come back and do homework. And that is like the start so small of just like, you're doing this thing that's like, you think it's helping you, but it's actually tearing everything even more so down. And like I said, your mind isn't clear then and you can't process. And then on top of that, when whatever's happening in this marriage is, it was a mess. It was really difficult and very confusing at that time. And honestly, looking back, like the drinking led to me calling someone after something that would happen. Now I'm like calling someone like this just happened. And now they're concerned about the kids, or they're calling the police. Like it was never me that's calling the police saying,
right.
I never reported anything that happened ever. So that led to that. So, but yes, it was a hard lesson for me to learn, and it put me, it got me and the kids in bad circumstances, and him too, on both of us. It was just not the right thing to do.
The physical abuse was happening to you, but the emotional abuse was happening to the kids too.
For sure.
I mean, like destroying bedrooms, and even just them witnessing abuse and verbal abuse to you, that's like traumatizing.
It was. I feel like that was like it's so weird because you know how I am. Like I don't know what people look at me from the outside, but people who know me, like I'm not a flashy person. Like I'll be wearing the same Nike as for like 2 years.
Yeah.
Like I am not like that.
Yeah.
However, that home, like he purchased that home without me even seeing it, and he's like, it's got a six car driveway. And I'm like, but we don't have 6 cars.
Yeah.
And like, it was so much home. And I remember saying that, like, I felt it before. It was beautiful, but it was like, this is too much. Like we're all spread apart in the home. I don't know. It just felt like it was just too much stuff. Like
that's kind of like your whole relationship with him though. It's like, he just would throw money at the problem. And I feel like it was like his subconscious way of trying to like make things right from abusing you was like, I'm just going to like buy all these flashy things and make it look like so picture perfect from the outside. Right. But like behind closed doors, it was a completely different story.
Yes, but I am responsible for that too, because, after things would happen, it was like, well, let's take the kids to like a penthouse, or let's go to let's go to these hotels and things. And so, because your mind starts to go from, let's get out of this dark moment, and you're going to like now build
just
this
putting Band-Aids on everything.
Right. but see, my mind did not like think that way before. It was like, okay, this is better. But is it really?
You didn't realize
better?
like how like
No.
psychologically like crazy that is, where it's like,
totally
you bring
crazy.
it from like this bad moment, and instead of like working through those emotions, it's like, let's just mask it and just distract and just go have fun.
And God knows, like, I did not know what that would have done was doing to the kids. Like I have so much guilt of like what we did in that way to their little minds. Like that time, the time he really wrecked that home. Like, I mean, he took like a baseball bat to every room, every picture, like I walked out of that marriage with absolutely nothing. And in that home, the kids seeing all of that, obviously I was terrified. They were terrified. It was crazy. And the next morning when he came home, Gia, she's like, no filter. She's like you. She just asked him, Daddy, why did you break everything in our home? Like, I did not know she was going to ask him that. And I was terrified when she said that. I'm like, oh God.
Yeah.
And he just said, because Daddy's a very, very bad man. Like, again, this is okay. That might be true, but this is not what you tell a 5-year-old in this moment. And I didn't even know how to like
respond.
manage. No, I didn't know. I'm not saying anything at this point. Like, I'm just like, you want me submissive? Like, you got her, like, which is terrible because that's not really who I am. And, I regret not just leaving, honestly, at that point. Like, I could have figured it out.
It was you're out, but
I
you
could
were
have figured it
still
out.
so emotionally like invested in trying to repair your marriage, even though it was clearly not healthy.
Well, yeah. And I think, I don't know how other people, if this could resonate with anyone, but I come from a broken family and I was going to be damned that I was going to do that. My family was like, no, this is like, God put us together. We're going to work this out no matter what. And relentlessly just trying to survive, but also, yes, trying to keep that unit together no matter what it looked like, because I just couldn't like settle on the fact of like, I'm just going to walk away from this. Like, I've known this guy since forever and I know there's good in there, but like the bad is really
Tipping on the other side of the scale at that point.
Because it wasn't like bad. It was like very dark, like a darker side that I was seeing.
Yeah.
That I didn't know that if I could like fix that part,
Well, and I know you've told me so many times, it's like you felt like if you left, the kids were going to resent you for breaking up the family, even though like the kids, I mean, they're still so young. Like, they don't understand that it's like, if you're in an abusive relationship or an unhealthy marriage, like the safest, smartest thing to do is leave. And that's like better in the long run. But at that point, like, they were still so young and they didn't really understand that. And you felt so much guilt from like leaving. So I feel like that is one of the main reasons why you stayed for so long and then you have him just instilling and drilling into your head too, using your own like religion against you. God hates divorce. God hates all these things. And it's like,
which is
you
true,
had like so many things
Yeah.
working against you. And it wasn't until you realized like we've gone deep into scripture about these things. Like it says like straight up in the Bible, like if the covenant is broken due to violence and all of these things, like it's not frowned upon to leave. Like, well, it had already been broken.
Right. And and it was. And again, like, my part too in this with the covenants that I broke as well.
Yeah.
And the guilt of that, like he was not going to, I honestly believe like after his first arrest and after like my affair, I honestly believe like there was deep hatred for me. And that was dangerous for me and them and the kids because it was not going to, it was like I couldn't recover. And that was like the next couple of years of what I was trying to do is like, let me see your heart. I can't see your heart anymore. Like what, but it's like once that person is like going against you, I feel it, my intuition is strong.
Yeah,
it is. And I felt it and he knew that. And I just wasn't strong enough to get away. After that suicide attempt in that Corona home, it wasn't too long after that his first arrest happened. Once that happened and the kids, were now not there.
Yeah.
Obviously.
They were taken by CPS.
Yes, for failure to protect on my end. And then there were allegations in that report of substance. I've never tested positive for drugs ever one time since I've had CPS in my life, not one time.
Right.
I think I failed like 2 alcohol tests later.
Yeah.
But those allegations had to be like smashed right away. And I continued to take more and more testing electively because I just knew that if I did that and had it documented, they would know.
Yeah.
And I do believe at the end of the day, as hard as it was to get through CPS, I do believe that they were on my side. They were on the kids' side first, and then
because at the end of the day, it's their job to protect kids
and
from a situation. They don't care
they don't
what you're doing. It's like if you're not going to make the hard decision.
That first time CPS ever even called, like I didn't even know what CPS was. I didn't, So they call, and I'm with him, and then they're like, well, we're going to come to your house in an hour. And I'm like, what is this? And so I asked him, do you know anything about this? And that was in the truck that day. He hits my head against the truck wall, throws my purse out onto the freeway. This is like moments before I'm supposed to meet with people and look totally normal to tell them that I'm a great mom and he's a great dad. And, so we did that, and I answered all their questions, tested for them that day. And he's right upstairs listening to the whole conversation. It just was so, and I remember that one of the workers asked me, it was just so many lies that they knew. She was like, have there been like walls punched, like holes punched in walls, or like, and I'm like, well, this is like every Tuesday we're going to say this happens. But I did notice that like 2 days prior, he had all like a crew of people fixing all the holes. It's like, I don't know if he'll ever tell me if he knew, or it doesn't matter, but I was lying to them, like right to their face. Like, no, that's never happened. They had to know. So it was, again, just
like they were getting that information
somewhere.
Of what was happening from someone.
Right. And it is true. Because it is true. And it was true. And it was happening. And it was horrible for the kids to have to see this broken everything everywhere. And I think little by little, that stuff just starts to, I cannot say it any better than like it just mentally starts to tear you down. And I would imagine it did the same for the kids. Your everything is broken. Your rooms are broken. Your Barbie house is broken. Your holes in walls. Like that is not, it's just not, you can't sustain that for so long. So as much as you want to be happy and you want to keep running your kick-ass business and you want to be all these things, like you just can't keep going that way. So, anyway, we put that house up for sale. Yeah. Because I wanted to show CPS, we're going to part ways, and we decided to do that together.
I think the tipping point was the accident.
So the car accident, that's like 2022, and that accident happened like before I even got that apartment. So like when we were in escrow selling the home. Yeah, because I remember talking to you. It was like the close of escrow. Yeah.
It was like I came back and it's like, oh God, finally. Right. It was like, okay, I can kind of see the light. Okay, you're finally ready. You're telling me. We're talking to the realtor. I'm going to get a certain amount of money from the sale of the house, and I'm going to have like a little nest egg that I can start over. And then it was like you get into the apartment, and then it was like things that you were telling me weren't actually happening.
No, and I'll tell you what exactly happened. So that again, the timeline, I forget it until it's like said this way, but yes, that was all true. We were in escrow for the home.
And like even dumb shit like him refusing to sign like loan docs, like he was still actively working against you even during that time.
So in selling the home, my client was a great client, was our escrow. We were in escrow with her, and yes, I had told him, let's just split this money, like, cause it was a decent amount of money. I'm like, let's just split it and whatever. And this is her recommendation, mine. He did not want to do that. And going to the notary, he like freaked out and didn't want to go. And I'm calling her. It just was all this chaos constantly. It's like nothing can just go smooth, and I don't know why. But anyway, I'm telling her this, and he didn't want to split the money. So I really don't know what happened. Like, I guess the escrow was just in escrow, but we were out of that home, and I had not gotten into the apartment yet. And that's when I got run over by the car. When I got run over by that car, it was in Torrance. I went to UCLA, obviously the emergency unit or whatever unit, trauma unit. I was there for 6 nights, 7 days, and it was like day 2 or 3. He walked in to the hospital room and was like, check your bank account. And I was like, what? And I checked my like bank account, and all that money was in my account. Like, I didn't ask for that ever, nor did I want that at all.
Yeah.
You know, and his mom came right away. It was like, it was just, that was the moment. I'm not kidding you. That is the moment in that hospital room. I swear. That is the moment where I looked at him, and I remember thinking, like, you are never leaving this person, because will I ever really know if that was an accident? I don't know, because I couldn't see his face. Do I think it probably wasn't? Probably not. However, I watched him and his mom maneuver the way they did, talking to people in there, and I was just like,
you were
he
so
can do
scared.
anything.
Yeah,
He
you
can do
felt
anything.
like the retaliation against you
Oh my gosh.
for trying to leave would be worse than the abuse that you were facing in those day-to-day life.
It was just ultimate fear. That's all I can tell you. Ultimate fear. And now, like, my kids are on the line, and I'm like here with 12 broken bones.
It was, dude, I
know.
You and I went and got the hospital report together because in our healing phase, her healing girly phase, it was like, what do you mean? Like, you've never read these things?
I've
it
never
was
read
like,
a police report because I'm always there. So I,
yeah,
like, why
it
would
was
I ever read
like,
it?
no, we're going to go. I want to know like exactly what had
Yeah.
happened. And like, you're going to start healing and educating yourself on these matters, because it does matter. Like, if you want to move on, like, you need to be able to like kind of close these
Right.
chapters so that you can like move forward. And like reading that, it was like this thick.
I know.
It was insane. I'm like, there's no way that this amount of damage was caused by somebody accidentally.
Well, and what I will say, and this would get no one in trouble now because it's, past, but I will say that so we did have dinner that night in like Hermosa Beach before the accident happened, but like maybe like 2 drinks max each, both of us. Mm-hmm. However, after that, he went into another restaurant on his own. I stayed in the car, and he was drinking in that restaurant. It's like, whatever. But he was angry when he came out. I know this. And what I always have told you, and what people may or may not like or need to look for, because I didn't back then, but I see this now.
Yeah, and it's about education of like the science to help other people.
Right. So it's the reaction. Okay? It is like the reaction of the person doing whatever that they're doing. Like, no matter what it is, if it's a kick in the stomach, if it's a kick up my ass, if it's a hit across my face, whatever was happening, like the reaction that he would give is beyond shocking. It's like nothing.
No remorse.
No, less than that. It's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's almost like I felt bad for him because there was nothing there. Like, like I can't explain it. It's like the rage you see in the face, and you feel it, that I felt. But the aftermath of like directly after, he would either run, like leave, like whatever premises we're on, he would like leave.
Yeah.
So I'm alone.
Yeah.
Or like in the matter of the car accident, like I remember laying there on the asphalt, and he was very far away from me. And, I don't know that my lung is punctured and I'm bleeding on the inside. I have no idea. I've never broken a bone in my life until that day, ever. So I'm laying there, and I just kept saying, call 911, like, please call 911. Like, I know now, like,
a normal
I need
person's
help.
reaction is if you run somebody over by a car, you call an ambulance right away.
Yeah, no.
Like, you render aid right away.
Yeah, that did not happen. And I don't know if he like called his mom first or what was happening, but I just kept saying, like, I have to.
Like, you knew you were hurt.
Badly.
Yes.
It was the worst pain ever. And I just knew something was very like badly wrong. Mm-hmm. But again, yes, it's like the reaction to that is also creates more fear in you, because you're like, what did I do wrong? Is this my fault now? Like, always thinking it's my fault. Like, always, and even if I ran over a stuffed animal and it is my fault, like, I'm still running over to that stuffed animal, like, helping
yeah,
it. Like,
if it was an accident,
Yeah,
you would
you
think that the
immediately-
reaction would have been to render aid immediately if you
Right.
accidentally do something.
So
but the
that-
fact that like that didn't happen makes it feel like it was calculated.
yeah, it felt it felt like I just was scared.
Yeah.
You know, at first I was scared because I didn't know if I was going to like, I honestly didn't know if I was going to like live through that. I did not know. I was in so much pain. It was just awful. And then at that point, you know, like as always, like I swear every time it's like his mom is just there within seconds. I don't know where she was, like always just there. And it's like they're off doing their thing. And I'm sure they were talking because this looks bad and how are we going to help him through? It's just, I was just alone. I was alone in the hospital bed. I was like not knowing what was going on. Like it was just really difficult. And what sucks too is that like I said, we had 2 drinks before.
Yeah.
Like someone please get the receipt for that restaurant. It's like this is not like a matter of me drinking above and beyond what like normal a couple would do, right? However, on like the medical report, of course they're gonna take there was like a small amount of alcohol in my system, which fine, but we're not testing yours. How you got away with...
And you weren't the one driving.
No, I wasn't. But like, again, for me, it just makes me... It's the shame of like, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have had any... I wish I never drank ever.
Right.
Ever.
Yeah.
Because it's like, dude, all that did was like make things look worse for me.
Yeah. Well, and at the hospital too, wasn't a car delivered?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A brand new car delivered.
Let's throw more money
and
more gifts at...
It's
something that happened. It's just, it's like too many coincidences. Like whether or not that is like the way that he was trying to do stuff, like it's a pattern. It's to me. Like it's every time something bad happens, it's like he's just trying to pull you in by like giving you bright, shiny things as like his apology, because he's never once apologized for any of the things that he's done to you. So it's like, that was like his way of apologizing is we're just going to get new things. And it's like, oh, like everything's going to be fine.
Yeah. And I think and again, at the time you're just like, we're just going with this, right? Like, we're just going to go with this because this is what we do. And no, like, absolutely not. Like for anyone, like, God, I hope that no one is ever in like this dire of a situation, because when you are, and you are only told to trust one person, right? Like, it's like the last thing you should do, like, because, and that breaks, like, for me, like, trust issues, obviously. Now it's like, God, you know, I trust you like completely, and good people around me. But when you're told to just trust one person and nothing seems to be going the right way, everything actually seems to be like backsliding, like tremendously, you got to be really strong and have some really, really good support to be able to pull you through that. And if you don't have that, and I wouldn't say that I didn't have my faith there. Like, I always, God, I feel like has always been with me, but I definitely wasn't seeking that way. And I wish I did then too, you know? But yeah, just a really chaotic, bad situation that could have ended even worse.
Yeah.
And I'm obviously glad, you know, it ended the way that it did.
Your affair. What point of like the relationship did that happen, and kind of how did that transpire?
Biggest regret of my life, 100%. I have made amends to that person as well. We are still good friends to this day. Someone that I've known since I'm 19. And honestly, it was a friendship that, I leaned on too much, and it shouldn't have crossed that line, and it did. And this happened when we lived in the other Corona home. So like, I don't know, 2021. I think it was like right after COVID, maybe.
Was this before or after his first attempt?
Before.
Okay.
Before. Which again, like, the guilt I had for this affair, after that, I was like told everything was my fault. Everything was my fault. And I believed it. And I still do to this day. Like, I still feel like that rocked, you know, our marriage. But there were things already obviously happening prior to. But yeah, I wish, you know, if I could go back, obviously I would not have done that.
But you finally had like a safe space that you felt. So it's like you've got to not feel like so much guilt, because you were dealing with still like so much just darkness and
but I could have left.
Not safety.
Yeah. I could have left, you know, so it is what it is. It's like in the past. And, but yeah, huge regret. Like, don't recommend that in any marriage. It's hard to get through. And then, I didn't realize like the shame and guilt I would feel for that. And after that was a lot of degrading me at any time. Like that stuff I hadn't seen before. Like the physical stuff was like one thing. And yes, I know I thought it was like totally normal. It's totally not normal. But the degrading part of it and the verbal stuff, like after the affair, was like and telling my kids, our kids, like specific things that were like children should never hear. I didn't know what to do with that either. It was like very difficult for me to like walk through. However, at that point, again, that was just solidifying the fact of like, Sonny, you have to recover this. Like, this is your fault. You have to recover. This is your doing. So it honestly was worse timing because it just got me into like a more backed against the wall place, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I know that like after you had said like the things that he was saying to the kids were like super like X-rated. Like that alone to me is like abuse to the children. Like
it was hard, and then to have them come ask me like, Mommy, what does this mean? When, I was just like, oh my gosh. It was, I horrible. And I don't know why he did that, and maybe people do that, but I was like not equipped to handle that with the kids. Like, and I had told my husband, I would have always told our kids about this affair, always, because I always want when they're old enough to understand.
Right.
And to help,
not 5.
No, and to help them in their life, in their relationships. I will always be like honest with them at the appropriate time.
Right.
This is not the appropriate time to be doing this.
Yeah, these are grown-up conversations.
Yes,
that you
and
have.
to be saying these things, like it's just wrecking, them. And after my affair, it was like, of course, obviously he was, not faithful in his first marriage, and that's fine. And after my affair, it was like game on, and he was going to just taunt me and mouth the names across the kitchen to me. And like, I don't know if it's Melody, Megan, I don't know what you're saying, but he loved that, like doing that to me. So again, it's like,
it's so wrong.
Well, it's like, see, I don't even, it's like,
It's
I get
so
it though.
wrong.
I understand.
2 wrongs don't make a right.
No, they don't. But like, how often do we do that in life, right? We like, he couldn't.
You don't retaliate against your wife and like try to get back at her.
I mean, it's like a natural reaction, I think. But either way, I was okay with it. I was like, get it out of your system. Do what you need to do. Again, I'm like, this will all just be, this like cycle that we went through, and we'll look back on it one day and go, God, I can't believe we made it through that. Truly, that was like what my mind thought. But no, it was too much. It was just too much with everything else happening. And I just couldn't manage my own feelings. I couldn't manage the kids' feelings altogether, and trying to like help him or I just couldn't do it all. Like I really couldn't. So it was difficult.
Yeah. So you're now at an apartment. Did you still have your salon at the time?
I did not, but I reconnected with one of my both landlords, and one of them, my main one, the other one, it was like my second location. She's like, just put the keys in the lockbox, like, we'll call it fine. Okay, so we did that, and he was with me that day. I did that. But my main location, I went to the landlords, kind of explained to them like, hey, I didn't like explain what was going on, just like tough times, like I'm ready to come back. And, they loved me, like always pay my rent on time, like obviously good tenant, brought a lot of business to that space. She said, yeah. I paid her like $20,000 that day, which he like nearly killed me for. He was so angry, but I just knew that was the right move at that time, like to get back in. And
try and keep your business afloat.
Right. And so I did, and they gave me new keys, and I went back in. I had like 2 girls at that time that were still kind of there. And
so what happened like up until that point, like that you just like the business kind of just like slowed down and people were leaving, or like what transpired to get to that point where you were like on the edge of losing it?
Yeah, this is a language that I'd have to hear from, most of the girls, but I can only speak for what it probably looked like was what it was. It was complete fucking chaos. Like this, I'm a sole owner here. I don't have partners. I built this business from the ground up. I, did so much in here, and then all of a sudden, like, where's she at? Well, I don't even know where I'm at. Like, I'm dealing with family suicide. Like, I'm dealing with so much stuff. Now the law's involved, and it just, I could not manage like the Sunny that I was, and this like badass. I did not feel like that anymore. I felt like I was less than zero. At that point, it was like I'm in the fight of my life for my children, like and trying to recover this situation and still figuring out how to keep him happy at the same time. So going back in there, it's like my heart, my soul wanted it, but I just wasn't strong enough to do it. And then like right when I got back in there, the salon, I don't even know if I told you that it like got broken into. Yeah. And then I'm just like, God, it just seemed like the hits kept coming. And I simply wasn't ready. I simply wasn't ready. And that sucked for the livelihood of those girls. Because they know I loved them all. I supported them all. Always encouraged them, and truly, like I think I said on the last episode, I never ever, when people like post these things like, oh, boss babe, like I was like, those girls are lame. Like I'm never that way, you know that? I'm very much
like prideful.
Never. Always in the trenches with these girls. Like I'm working just as much, if not harder than you guys are on the back end, on the front end for everything. And a lot goes into those businesses. They were not small, they were big. And I think, again, there was a lot of shame there too. And so I don't blame him for that, because that was my business. And
yeah, but I know that you've told me that you had like some of your stylists saying that they were like uncomfortable with him being there. And like that even some of the stylists had even like taken you off and had like private conversations, like worried about you and your well-being. So I do feel like that had a huge factor into the demise of the business, was like other people, like you couldn't see it at the time, but like they could see that something was wrong and that you weren't necessarily safe all the time. And it was causing them to not feel safe anymore in their own work environment.
That is true. And it's so interesting because like for me, like, how like my work ethic is, it's like, this is my dad's work ethic is just built in me. So you just like, the moment you park your car and you're going in those doors, like it's just game on, right? And nothing else matters besides making people look and feel beautiful. From the moment they walk in until the time they leave. This is our mission. This is what we do. And this is what I'm good at. And it's also something I thought would kind of, again, like not a Band-Aid, but like you just keep going. And I could not do that. So it's not that I didn't like see that was happening, but like, I'm being told to wear like long sleeve turtlenecks in like the summer. So, right. So after a point, then
like
you're
100 degrees outside and people are like, and everyone's in shorts and flip flops and
you're like sweating,
showing up in winter.
And so, then it's like the day you take your jacket off, it's like, someone's like, what the fuck is all over your body? Like what is going on? So, and when you get approached like that, like, it's not that I don't know what's happening, but when someone faces you that way, you're almost like, what? Then it's like, what do you do? What do you say? And this becomes probably more lies. And
you were conditioned to lie about everything. So it's like
shit. And so for the girls, they were concerned to say the least. And they also, didn't see a great side of me. And that's why I say I don't blame him. This was like chipping away at me probably way more than I knew. But my like get up and go attitude was like, this is just what you do. You put one foot in front of the other and like, you're going to tackle this like you tackle everything else. And up until this point in my life, Britt, like I had not had a downfall. ever in life. It was like, I'm always on the up and up, right? Like, and I'm working hard, but I'm always on the up and up.
But yeah, things can only, it's like a bottle. Like you can only shove so many things in there until it's eventually going to be full and explode. So it's like, I find you finally like hit that peak.
Right.
Where it's like things just started unraveling.
Right. That's exactly. Like they slowly were like, and probably before I noticed it, they were like unraveling.
Yeah.
And like you were mentioning me like not showing up or being late, like that stuff was like terrible and was not in my character prior to that. And it was falling apart like all around me, you know, and I still believe to this day, a lot of those girls, they supported me. They did, but they saw me like not supporting myself.
Yeah.
And making bad decisions. And so they're just like, you want to take this route? Like you take this route. We're not going to support that.
Yeah.
And I completely understand that because I don't know what I would do with an owner that you would look up to and then falls apart.
And that kind of goes into a topic that I want to talk about is just like how does someone, let's just say me, for example, because I'm here and I can speak, you know, first perspective, like when you know that someone in your life is going through those things, like how can you help them or what do you even do? Because I know for me, like you and I had known each other for over 10 years and it's like, I knew what was going on.
Yeah.
And we were comfortable enough in our friendship that you would tell me things that were going on. And I did my best to give you advice during that time and, you know, try to help you get out us to that point.
Yeah.
But there were times in our friendship where, you know, it was so much that I had to like step away. And it's not that I don't give a shit about you or that I'm not worried about you. I'm freaking worried about you every damn day. But it's like, I have my own life and my own kids and my own family and business that I have to protect. And it's like, you just keep having the same conversations. Like it goes hand in hand with addiction. It's like someone isn't going to get help unless they want to get help. Right. And you weren't at that point that you were ready to leave him and, you know, listen to the advice and get out of that situation. So it's like, you know, if we have listeners that are listening and you're in like the trenches, like don't give up, but you also have to protect your own peace at the end of the day. And so I know that there were times where it's like I would, you know, text you to check on you and you wouldn't respond, or very short conversations. I'm like, oh, she texted me back. I know she's alive. Like those feelings where it's like just that simple text message coming back. It's like, it's scary. Yeah. Like it's because you don't know, like you don't see this person every day.
Right.
You know what's going on behind closed doors. But you still have like that pit of your stomach that one day you're going to get like a phone call or you're just not going to answer. And then you're going to see on the news that like,
and I'm sure
something's wrong.
Yeah. And I'm sure that was the case for a lot of people that were close to me, and I totally get it. And my advice to like those friends is do exactly what you did. You know, you have to protect your family first. Right. But I always knew that you were there and you never bullshitted me. You were straight up. You were hard on me. You're still hard on me.
You like hated some of the conversations that we would have.
I know.
You would like look at me like a doe in the headlights, like,
because I couldn't get it.
Like you were wanting me to give you your answer so badly that when I gave you the complete opposite, you're like, why am I even freaking talking to you? You're not going to agree with me. Why are we even friends? Because I wouldn't tell you what you wanted to hear because what you wanted to hear was not the freaking truth.
Right. I know. And
it was not.
I know. And I think being that way ultimately, like, it's just like this tough love, but you had love. Like,
it was genuinely wanting to give you the good advice,
right?
Not just like sugarcoat it and tell you what you wanted to hear.
Right, because that wasn't like, no,
this isn't going to help. Like you've been sugarcoated and candy coated and lied to your whole marriage. Like you need somebody that's going to tell you, all that is BS. Like what you're believing and what you've been told is not the truth. And I don't give a shit how much you love this person. They don't have your best intention at heart. And I do.
Yeah. No, I know. And that's what I could never, ever until like pretty recently, like say, you know, like you just don't want to believe it. That's the thing. You just don't want to believe it.
Yeah.
And it's not about it's not about the home and even the businesses. It's not about any of that. It's about, it's really about like my heart, you know, my heart was like, I could not understand that concept.
Yeah.
I couldn't understand, there's no way that this person's like going to be this way. But it was happening, you know, and for sure it was not for my good. And whatever that means with me, like that is my children. Yeah. So where I'm at now, like, you know, I will die for Ryder and Gia.
Oh yeah.
Like will protect them with everything that I have. Like now you just reignited the fire that I always knew I had in me, but was out for so long because I couldn't see straight. And like that, I needed someone like you to, yes, you were distant at times and you needed to be, but I did know that you were always there. So I think that's probably the best way to be with someone who's not going to listen to you because they're so in it. Yeah. Like, you know, like you said the other day, I would tell you like, yeah, I'm not seeing him. And then you were like, and then I'm like, oh, he just brought us food. And you're just like, I was not ready. No. And I just wasn't ready. You know? So,
and then I feel like when I came back, I mean, it was like sporadic, you know, we would still connect and stuff. But when I came back, it was like in the thick of it. When like really came back, it was like I could see everything spiraling out of control. Yeah. And it was like, if I don't kind of suck it up and
take over,
like you're going to be on a Netflix show for like your husband murdering you and your family, because it was like, it was getting scary to the point that I was like, if I don't get involved, something bad is going to happen.
Yeah, and bad things were happening. You know? And bad things were happening. And I am so glad that you stepped in, because that took a lot of strength, and I know it pulled you away from your family. And thank God your family loves me, and I love them. Like they see me, but it's like, yes, that was a lot to ask of you to do that. And I'm sure you just knew like there's no way, there's like no way out at that point.
And then like even at your Corona house, that's when I really started getting more involved with you and, you know, going to the apartment, helping you with the kids. Cause at this point you had the kids for a little bit. And it was like going in and you're telling me these things like, oh, he was here and he changed the locks because he broke the last one. And I'm looking at the lock and it was a keyed lock from the inside. Right. So you needed a physical key to unlock the apartment door from the inside. And immediately I was like, that is so dangerous. Because number one, he could lock you in here.
Or if we lost the key and there's a fire, you lost the key,
my biggest thing was he can lock you in here and not let you out.
Right.
If you don't have that key and he locks it from the outside, you and the kids are trapped in this apartment.
Yeah, that was scary.
And God forbid there's a fire that you're stuck inside and you weren't on the ground floor. You were up like 2 or 3 flights.
Yeah.
And so I immediately went to Home Depot, brought my drill, brought all the supplies to the apartment and changed the lock. And I was like, you and I are the only ones now that will have a key to this apartment. Because I was like, at that point, I think I was just so pissed at you and the situation, and especially at him. But it was like if I don't start like intervening and saying, fuck this. Like, enough is enough, dude. Like, I'm not giving you an option anymore.
Right.
Like you have your kids and I'm going into like fight or flight mode now because it's like, if I don't step up and protect you and help you do these things, nobody will.
Right. And nobody like knew that was going on.
Yeah.
So you like that's you definitely were like, we were friends, but you were like, bitch, I'm running the show now. Like
it was. And that leads me to like the hardest point and decision that I've ever had to do like morally in my life. You know, the night that you called me and you came to my house a few days before that and you were just complaining about like your back because an incident had happened and you could like barely walk. And I remember you staying the night at my house and just pumping you with Aleve, just trying to get your muscles to relax because you were in so much pain that you like physically couldn't even like move. Yeah. And then I get a call and it was that the day that it was my wedding anniversary? No, that was different.
That was
okay. So that was another day.
This was in October.
This was October. Yeah. Okay. So shortly before. Okay. So October, I get a call from you and you're like, I need you to get the kids from school. I'm like in bed and I like physically can't get up.
Yeah.
So I leave my son's football game and I go pick the kids up and I get to the apartment and you're there and you're like in bed and you were in bad shape.
Yeah.
I was like, we need to call an ambulance. Like this, like something.
Did you call the ambulance?
I did.
Yeah.
I'm like, something is not right. But also with me calling the ambulance, I also called the police.
I know. I remember looking at you.
And it wasn't to get you in trouble. It was to get him in trouble because it was like, how can this person, like, enough is enough. Like, he can't get away with this anymore. And I knew that you already had like a rocky past with CPS and you weren't supposed to be around him. So like I had that pressure on myself that I knew that my actions could open a whole nother can of worms for you in your life.
Right.
And I remember we were sitting on the bed and I told you, I was like, I'm calling the police. And I said, I don't care if you hate me. I remember like saying those words and like that being so hard because I really truly value our friendship. Yeah. And I was like, as a mom at this point, if you're not going to stand up for yourself and these kids, I fucking will.
Yeah.
And that was also the night that they had told me about the situation that happened at the hotel and that—
Who told you, the kids?
The kids.
Oh, right.
And that they didn't feel safe.
Yeah.
And I was like, if they are confiding in me about something that has happened and that they don't feel safe, like I now, as a grown-up, have an obligation to do what I need to do to protect them because they're children. Like
right. They can't.
You're grown. Like you're the one that's making these decisions. Yep. They can't.
Yeah.
So it's like if somebody's going to step up, then it's going to be me. So yeah, we did. I called the ambulance that night and called the police, and that kind of did open up a whole can of hurt and hard times. And you and I have worked through it and talked about it because it's like you knew, like you were so pissed at me in that moment.
It needed to happen.
But you were so mad at me in that moment. But yet, like most people who are truly pissed off at somebody would just like completely stop speaking to them.
I needed you.
Like you didn't run away from me. And that's when I knew, oh fuck, like I now that I've done this, like I can't leave.
Yeah.
Because most people, would be so pissed off and they would like be like, screw you and all of that. But you stuck around. And I'm like, that was the first time that I feel like I'm like, we're crossing, like we're finally like getting somewhere. And you're having these feelings now of maybe it is time for me to actually like leave and put myself first and protect my kids. And from there, a whole police case was opened for domestic violence. And unfortunately, CPS got involved again. Yeah.
And, it's, again, with the lies, my God, I still, at that point, when CPS, like, came to visit me, like, of course, I had told him, like, the police came and he was, like, mad. And but then CPS, like, comes into the apartment and the kids had, like, a school event. So I had to, like, race home to meet them there. And just blatantly, the workers like, so what happened on this night? And I'm like, nothing. I mean, like, I can't even believe, like, hearing you right now, I'm just like, I cannot believe that I did such a disservice to my children, to myself, to you. Like, I cannot believe, like, the person that I was or I was like not even
you were like a
myself.
Robot.
Like I don't even know what I was doing.
It was like you were just so programmed to like hide, lie, and deceive that it was just like.
But see what right? But like that's why I say like I don't ever want to say the drinking was a good thing because it was awful.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have said like that like gave me like some type of. I guess like to let my guard down to say what was happening. I would have never told you about the lock. I would have never, like you can't just leave an apartment with children, your own children there, and you break the lock off the door. Like we need to be able to shut our door at night and lock the door. Like what is happening?
Yeah.
Those types of things like were not normal. Yeah. And of course, like I'm just like telling you and you're like, this is absolutely crazy.
Yeah, you like looked at
And
me
I'm
when
like,
I
what do
was
you
like,
mean?
I'm like, that's not normal. That's getting changed. And you're
Yeah.
looking at me like, what do you mean? Like, what's wrong with it? And then when I gave you 5 explanations on like why this was weird, even the police, when I showed them, they thought it was like super strange.
And oddly enough, as you know now, because we just finished this case up, but like oddly enough, that evidence is just gone, deleted.
Yeah.
The body cams of my kids saying that they're afraid of this person were just deleted. I mean, this is what, had I not been strong going through this last case, that's the kind of stuff that would have put me back in a position of like, wow, I am this small. But I'm telling the truth.
Yeah.
But I'm this small, like, and they're not going to call you, even though you were the witness and you're the one who called.
Yeah.
They didn't care about anything. It was like, we're going to protect this person no matter what, which is like the most scary thing for me is that, you know, it's fine. That's your life. Like, be protected. But my God, like what the kids and I had to like go through, like, how did you ever think we were going to survive this? Like, did you care? What did you even care? You know? So, again, this is why like people just need, even if it's one person, there's got to be someone that just fully supports you, that you can confide in, that you can trust in. And again, like you said, you know, me not turning my back on you because I had done that before.
Oh yeah. There were so many times that it's like, so much time would go by that we just wouldn't communicate. And it was just like, you were just in full blown isolation mode.
Well, and if my phone would ever go off, like, you know, around him, it's like, what he'll see.
Oh, and his reaction to me was always, fuck that bitch.
Everyone.
Like,
it wasn't just you.
Yeah.
It was anyone. So it was like, like I am just not going to speak on to anyone or anything.
Yeah.
It was a mess, you know, and that also can really put someone in a very weird mental state, because now you're just like, is this good? Is this bad? I don't know.
so from Corona, all of this
So,
transpired. And then you call me and tell me after we just
I know.
went through the ringer,
I know.
oh, I'm moving to Fallbrook. I'm like,
Yeah.
what do you mean you're moving to Fallbrook? Like, we had just got you a suite that you could start doing hair again and build your business in Chino Hills.
And I spent all that money on that.
Spent all that money getting everything set up. And then you're like, it's fine. I'll just commute. Because at this point, you still had the kids with you.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'll just commute. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, Fallbrook's like 2-hour drive from Chino Hills. And then you still have the kids that you have to like get to and from school. I'm like, the timing, you're going to have like one client that you can get, and then you're going to have to turn around and drive straight back. Like, how is that going to work? I was like, make this make sense.
And I have no like community out there. I have no people. No, I couldn't make it make sense because it didn't make sense.
The amount of times that like I'd get calls to go like help you pick up the kids, like because you were like a 20-minute drive from me. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, you at that point, I was like so nervous because I'm like, now you're like out of reach.
Out of reach. Totally.
And if something happens, I can't just jump in my car and get to you or these kids.
Right.
So at this point, I'm like so worried.
Yeah. And I did not see that at all, because what that was after the event, the night you were with the police and the kids and the whole thing, like when CPS came back in to like question me about that incident, and I was like, nothing. Of course, they're just like, this chick is never going to tell us the truth. Like, right. So we moved. So he was like, you know, I found this like beautiful home in this gated community in Fallbrook. And I'm like, Fallbrook, like never been, but I know we always said we were going to retire in San Diego. So, okay. Like, I don't even know, Britt. I just was like, it sounds like a fairy tale or something. I have no idea. It's going to work, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, he gives me the address, tells me to go. You know, I get the keys like right away. The landlord's like, okay. And it just happened so fast. And I used my retirement money to get in there.
At this point, you had drained all of your personal finances for this move that he initiated.
Well, and again, another thing that he told me was that I didn't have to tell, like, you don't need to tell CPS you're moving, which I didn't know either. He was like, show me some paper that says you have to tell them you're moving. And I'm like, well, I don't have a paper that says that, so I guess we don't. Oh, sure do. They showed up there too. Like, why didn't you tell us you moved? I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know that was like a thing, and I'm just trying to live my life, and it's going to be fine, you know? But yeah, so used all the money to get in there, and then I think it was the like I paid like the last month's rent, whatever. And the rent was super high. It was like, I think $4,700 a month. Like, what are we doing? You know, but he always knows how to make a good living. And I was trusting that, you know, and then sure enough, the first
that goes into, again, of the financial abuse of you're going to use all of your money to move.
Well, I'm sure.
And now we're going to move you into this house that I'm going to pay for. And you're like, okay. And now you're stuck.
I'm just thinking if people listening to this are probably like at this point, and they are totally right in being like, there is no way Sunny is this dumb. And the thing is, I am very naive and was just very trusting. But looking back again, like this is making me realize like, holy shit,
like the warning signs of all of these things. Because one of the biggest reasons why people don't leave abusive relationships 100% is finances.
Yeah. Because
they don't have the money to sustain life outside of that relationship that they're in. So that's financial control is a huge reason why people stay.
I didn't. And the first time that like it was it was his turn to like pay the rent, like he was not happy. Like it was this thing, it was just no. Like I'm not paying that rent there. And I was just like, what?
Like, what do you mean? You moved us here. What do you mean you're not paying the rent?
It was, I can't even, it's like hard to talk about because that was like, and that like Fallbrook, as you know, was like the darkest couple months for me. Like I did not know, it was awful. Like I was, like, might as well not even be alive because.
Fell into like a deep depression.
Completely.
And I know that your drinking escalated a lot during that time.
Like I had no idea what to do. And
then from there, you also had Vista.
Yeah. So, yeah.
You had another incident that had happened.
So, yeah, I forgot about that. And the you know, and I did want to mention, like, I did go to, like, a treatment center because I swear to God, you look at the documents, I thought I was going there for, like, depression. That's what I was, but I knew I was drinking too, but I'm like, this is, you know, what I think I'm going there for. And I remember telling you, like, I have nowhere to go. Like, this landlord is evicting us.
Yeah.
And my husband's in the housing industry, and he's like, you're fine, you can stay there. And I'm like, this doesn't feel right. Like, I can't, what am I supposed to do? They're putting, like, signs. I can't. And so, you know, I, like, go to this place.
And you have no money.
Nothing. Like, literally nothing. Like, there is no way out of this, like, at all. And I have no family around, like, no friend. Like, no, there's no way out. So that was, like, what I thought a way out, which, okay, this will be good. I'll go here. And he was just like, stay as long as you can there. And, you know, that was, like, fine. I did everyone's hair there and, like, learned some things or whatever. But
even at treatment, he was still visiting you.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. So, yeah. But, again, just looking back, like, no wonder my parents are, like, so frustrated with me because they're like, you made every bad decision possible. And you literally always made pretty good decisions. And, like, here I go just checking every single box. And I did, you know, and I am, like, fully responsible for that because I'm an adult and I'm a mom and, like, I did these things, you know, and I wish that I didn't and I did and I just couldn't seem to, like, get out of it or get straight. And I just didn't feel like myself anymore. I didn't have the strength. I didn't have, like, the friend units I had. I didn't have my businesses. I didn't have any of that stuff to make me feel confident. And then to have this person who's just, like, crushing up my food when it gets set down in public or throwing drinks on me in public, like, just every possible thing to degrade me or degrading my looks, like, all the time. It was like, holy shit, like, I feel like you have punished me enough. I just don't feel like this is, like, I cannot take any more of this. So, you know, it's just, it sucked. It totally sucked there. And that was a very, very, in my life, that was the darkest time in my life for sure.
So once you finished rehab, where did you go? Because at this point you were homeless. Like you were already kicked out of your Fallbrook house. You had nowhere to go.
Yeah. So I stayed with a friend in Orange County.
Okay.
Yeah.
And at this point, did you finally start realizing that, like, you needed to get out of that relationship?
And I wish I could say yes, but no, it took another few months. It was a few more months of seeing him and, you know, going through that until I was, like, really ready to walk away. But I did get into this wonderful place called Laura's House in Orange County. And and going through all of like their classes there for domestic violence and all these things. Like I was just, you know, we had to share like on paper, and I thought we were just like writing things down. So it's like you're being honest, right? And so then it's going around, and then I realized that everyone had to like share what was on the paper.
Like, uh-oh.
No, literally.
What have I done?
And I would always be sitting closest to the instructor, so I was like the last, and I was just like, oh my gosh, there's no way like I can say these things. So anyways, after like 2 times of that, these girls are looking at me like I have 9 heads, like what the hell? And the instructor, they pulled me aside and they were like, do you have an exit plan? And like, what is going on here? You know? And again, this is
like they could see how bad the situation was that you were in.
You know? And I'm over here like, was this bad? Like this is bad. And so that was happening. And then they put me with this like incredible therapist named Dana. And I don't know how, but like it changed everything for me. Everything. That is the month that I walked away from him. And I continued with her for all that time, even going through like the last case, like I was still seeing her, and she just was like, it was just such a real, honest, like person trying to remind me like, you are worth way more than this. Like what has happened shouldn't have happened, and you're worth way more than this. And it was almost like bringing me back to reminding me of the Sunny that like I forgot that I had in me, or that I thought that I was. And also she was super faithful, and that helped too. Like her faith was so strong, and so we would pray together in there, and it like reignited a lot of that for me, and that changed everything for me.
Well, and for those that are listening, like our biggest reason for us like doing this podcast is to help other people. So it's like if you are in this situation and you are listening, reach out. Like that is the first step to do to help you get out of this situation. Is every city, every state, like
there are so many resources,
so many places, not just Laura's house. Like there are so many resources out there for people that are struggling with this. Make the call, get the help. Like they will help get you resources.
And don't be afraid of
opening up.
Don't be afraid of opening up, because you know, the longer you take, like the more just bad stuff that's happening during that time. So don't be afraid to like, you know, tell someone something and really, and just voice what you need. And these people, they've dealt with it all before. They see it all before. Like, I think I'm lying to like judges and people. They know, like they know, you know, but I'm over here like, okay,
they're not going to be, they're not going to be shocked or surprised for anything that you tell them.
But truly, I feel like if someone who was as strong as I was, and who like just the person who I know I am, like if this could like if I could have a downfall this bad, and this is bad, like this is all bad. If I could fall that hard and still like manage to land on my feet and crawl up from this. Oh yeah. Anybody can, because I did not think that I could.
Oh yeah.
And the strength and the wisdom that I have now is like, I wouldn't change it, because I now feel like who I was before, but I am way stronger. I have way more discernment. I look at life a very different way. I am probably way more protective over my children. You know, it's taught me so much to get through this, and to get through it, you know, with kind of, I don't want to say alone, because, you know, you're here, God's here, your family helped us tremendously. Just good people. And it's like a very small, like your circle will shrink for sure.
Oh yeah.
Your circle will totally shrink. And that was hard for someone like me who had so many friends and all these things around me, but really that's what was needed. You know, I needed to like just hunker down, heal these kids, remind them of the mom that they know that they have, and also like remind myself of that too. You know, there is beauty in pain, and it is really, really hard to see that when you're going through it. And you know, there were so many days that I was like just broken, crying, praying on my knees every day, like, God, how am I going to get through this? How are we going to get through this? You know, will my kids ever smile? Like, will we be okay? And you know, by the grace and the mercy of God, like, we are great and happy.
Well, and the further and further you got away from this person, I told you this all the time. It was like, this person has a spell on you, and it's like, you need to give your body an opportunity for it to wear off, because it was like, make sense to me. Like, it doesn't make sense, like how that control was so tightly gripped. And
Because
I would tell you, I'm like, get off the hamster wheel.
Yeah,
I
because
told you that 100 times.
Because someone like me, you know, like, or maybe other people too, you just, like, I can only say it, and I'm not afraid to say it or ashamed to say it. Like, you love someone that way, and you see the hurt in them too. So my heart breaks for the hurt in him, because most of the time when people are angry and when they're doing things, like, they're hurt on the inside. And I knew that with him. And so, yeah, my heart was like, I can repair all of this, you know, but like, I just couldn't do it without, I just couldn't do it alone. Like, I just wasn't able to do it. But so then, yes, you have to be like a strong person and like stand on your own 2 feet and say like, this cannot work at all. And now it is me and my kids. Like, this is what it is. And if you don't do that, like, you'll keep going back. And it's like, now I listen to every restraining order and everything. Like, I don't even.
You have to break that cycle. Like, because if you don't, you will never get out. Like, you have to fully commit to changing every aspect of your life, or it won't work.
Right. You definitely have to. And it can be done though. Like, like, again, I promise anyone, like, I did not think I would get out of this at all. Like, at all. I truly believe like this was to end up making me look like unfit, or the kids and I would have been like homeless. Like, I don't know what was going to happen, but that was not the plan for us. That is not God's plan for us. That was not my plan or your plan. That was not going to happen. So you just have to like pick yourself up, and you have to like believe, every day that you walk more and more, like, you'll see, you know, things change. And again, like, beauty starts to like come back to life. The smiles in my kids' faces and the joy, and, you know, this is like all I need is that, you know. And it never one day did any of this change my heart. My heart has remained like intact for my kids. Like, the nurturing person that I am never changed. I was never vengeful, bitter, none of that. Just it's just a shitty situation that took a long time for me to learn from. In regard to like my salons, and, you know, I'm like, I hold that so close to my heart, because that is something that I built, like, blood, sweat, tears, like, hours and hours, and so much planning went into building that vision. And I do feel like at the end of the day, I still am a visionary and someone who has high goals and expectations and desires to create things in life that are beautiful. And I am so terribly, I'm ashamed. I am regretful. I am beyond sorry for the things that I caused that created, you know, chaos in other people's lives, you know, taking their livelihood away, taking away, their place, their routine, you know, it just like totally probably rocked everyone's world in there. And I couldn't see that at the time, because my world is like beyond, but I do think about it daily. And I do believe like I will rebuild that business, and it'll just be better. And I believe, again, going through this, as hard as it is to say, I do believe that somehow, some way, it was for the better. Like, I couldn't do another business. I don't believe if I was still in that situation, this had to like completely change me. Right. But I do just like completely love dearly those people that worked for me and worked with me. And, you know, they're like sacred in my heart. And that whole business was just something so beautiful that is hard for me still today that I don't have.
And being through like so much therapy that you've done through Laura's house and like independently, it's like now you can kind of step back from an outside perspective and look and see like everything that had transpired and like look at it from a different viewpoint where it's like I'm actually quite surprised that it went on for so long before completely blowing up.
Right. Yeah. I just thought, you know, it's going to be okay. Like, it's just going to be okay. But the thing is, when you are a leader, and again, like as your mom, you know, when you're a leader and people are looking up to you, like, you're running the show here. I mean, these people are looking up to me, and this is my job to keep you guys busy and happy and growing and sustaining this and everyone's livelihood. You know, I never looked at it like it was a lot of pressure on me, because I never felt that way. I loved it. However, when that person like can no longer do their job, like, we have a serious problem here. Like, what are we going to do? And for me to put all of those people in that situation of like you got to just run to another salon or go somewhere else or do something. I mean, oh my gosh, like that probably was beyond difficult for all of those girls and the guys. And I cannot forgive myself enough for that, you know, because like now I understand how it is to be when you're left with like, you don't know what you're going to do. So,
Right.
you know, I'm tremendously sorry for that. And I wish it didn't happen.
Yeah.
And if given the opportunity, like I will build something again. And I absolutely just like, you know, I loved my employees like so very much and looked at them as far more than employees, definitely as close friends for sure. I'd like to thank my guest, Brittany Maurer, the most amazing best friend ever. And please tune in to the Human Sunshine podcast. We've got lots of fun guests coming up, lots of women CEOs, nonprofits, lots of really great things to show you guys. Thank you for watching.